integration. This is where the file. Okay, this is right. Try to open the integration and we'll open one more browser as well. See, so if you remember, we move the hard codes from connection level to the request mapper, then request mapper to our variables, right, team? Now, assume you develop this integration as expected up to this level, and it's working fine against your requirement. A user has tested within the dev environment to OIC, it's working fine, and given approval to production migration team, and successfully migrated to the production. Okay. Later, some days, client requested to change your file name pattern in the directory. As of now, we have given start.csv, but the client is requesting to be changed PO start.csv. Whichever file starts with the PO names, you need to be pick that files, since they are using that server for other purpose as well. Okay. Now, what you will do, team? How will you change that file name pattern? Anyone, any approach? Getting the question right?
Yeah, I mean, like in the file name place, you can place it as PO
Exactly.
star.csv.
You need to deactivate the integration, edit the variable, and update the variable value, right, team? PO star.csv.
Yeah.
It's a hectic process, team, right? Within the production, we cannot do directly. Again, you need to be perform the same thing within your lower environment within the dev. There you need to be test. Again, needs to get an approval to be migrate, right, team? It's one of the process. The way whichever hard codes are there, team, the future changeable values, the hard codes, I can say the future changeable value. These are future, there is a chance to be changed in future, these values. Depends, right? The moment you need to be move these hard codes to lookups team. Lookups, okay? See, I will create a lookup here. These are lookups. Just create. It's a TL43 something GL lookup. Click on the create. It's a column name team. Column name, something integration name. Click on OK and add one more column, which is file name, pattern. Click on OK, add one more column here, which is directory. Click on OK. The file name something glint integration, file name pattern start.csv directory /TL43. Okay, so this is my data team. Now my data in my lookup team. It's time to derive the values from lookups to your variables team. Okay, so in order to maintain a lookup versus your integration, you need to be maintain a uniqueness between lookup versus integration team. So what is the uniqueness here, team? The integration name glint. This value need to be maintained within the integration level. In the integration level. So this is my integration. Open the variables here. First create a variable. This is variable integration name, something. This is one of the use case team. In generally, you may get a uniqueness from your file. Depends on the use case. The value is glint. Okay. Just validate and the close. Now the variable value, lookup one of the value is same team. The variable value and the lookup one of the common one of the column value, both are same team. If both are same, try to get file name pattern. If both are same, try to get directory. Okay, just a minute. So the way you may maintain the uniqueness between the lookup versus the integration and derive the target value stream, it will work same as decode statement. Decode. Let's see how I can derive here. So first we'll try to decode here. Decode of integration name is GLINT. Then I need star.csv. Else I need something null, something, empty value, right? Similarly. So I need, if it is GLINT, I need, sorry, file name patenting. Okay. Similarly here, you need to be get directory value. Okay. Or you may hardcode as of no issues, TL43. Or else null. CD. This is a decode of your database column. If it is integration name, right, the value is GLINT. I'm expecting one of the static value file name pattern. If the condition is fails, right? If the condition is fails, you may get this value, right, Tim? The decode. This decode statement is correct?
Yes.
Oh, equal expertise.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's correct.
file
Maybe
name,
keep my decode statement here, guys.
file name pattern quotations.
Whatever, right? Something star.csv. So what happened if it is true? If the condition is true, which value it will return us?
Standard
Star.csv. If it is true, which value it will return?
TL43.
Team here, team. The lookup will works. This is my lookup name, TL43GL lookup. In this lookup, if integration name is GLINT, get the star.csv. Now, in this lookup, GL lookup, right? See, in this lookup, integration name value. What is integration name value, team, here in this lookup?
GLINT.
GLINT. Now, this GLINT value should comes from your integration name, which is a variable integration name. In this lookup, integration name value, same as your variable value. If both are same, I would like to get file name pattern from the lookup. Okay. Else null. Else something NA not applicable. Similarly, the same. In this lookup, the integration name value GLINT, same as the variable integration name value GLINT. If both are same, I would like to be get, which is directory value. Otherwise, it will return NA. It's clear? Clear, team, for everyone? If you clear this, then only the next step you will understand, team, which I am going to be performed. This value comes from the lookup. This value comes from integration team. Getting?
This decode is different from the SQL decode,
No,
right?
just I'm trying to correlate here. Just remove the decode.
Okay. Yeah.
So the way it will works. Okay.
But where did you pass that
We'll see the next step.
integration names? Like,
The next step.
okay, okay.
The next time I'm going to be performed to derive the same this within the integration. So before that, this step is clear, right? In generally, when you compare
Yes.
with the decode.
Yes, Vijay.
Okay.
Yes.
The context you need to be get here, team. Okay. Otherwise, the lookup you cannot understand there. The decode will perform the evaluation on only one column, right, team? Is there any possible to perform the multiple columns? The evaluation.
Expression only one column.
Only one, right? The lookup also always depends on only one column, team. Okay, you need to be depends on only one column and get the target value. Same here, same. So this has created the lookup. Now close the integration and try to open so that lookup changes will be affected here. You may see the lookups. Open the variable. So just move up here very first. Escape. Validate, right? Now, integration name value team. The file name pattern, we'll get it from our lookup. Edit the expression builder. Just delete this. And within the components team, just search with lookup. Search with lookup. You may see lookup value. This lookup value comes from integration cloud component, okay? Lookup value, just drag and drop here. Wait until it will pop up the lookup screen. So in this instance, we do have a number of lookups. It's take a while to be populate the screen. Now this is our lookup table. It's saying it has 3 columns. Click on the next. Select the source column team. The source column, I need integration name. Depends on source, what the target you are expecting. I'm expecting file name pattern. These are lookup columns team, okay? So if the source, GLINT, right? The target start.cs, the file name pattern you are expecting team. Click on the next. If the condition is fails, we are expecting some default value team. Click on the next. This is summary. In this lookup, the source column integration name, the source value team. Note the value for this parameter should be set in the editor. The source column value is GLINT, same as your source value team. Then the target column will be derived. Click on the done. See here. The same team. Lookup. In this lookups we call DVM team. So in the lookup, TL43GL lookup, the column name is integration name, same as your source value. This value you need to be set in the editor. So what is the value ideally team? It's a GLINT. So integration, what is the integration name value here team from the lookup? From the lookup, what is this integration column value?
GLINT.
GLINT is the same as our hard code value GLINT. Its condition is true. You will get file name pattern value from lookup. Now, within integration, how we are getting the GLINT value?
Variable.
Variable, right? Simply remove the source value here and get your variable team here. Where is that? It's still not affected. Still. The variable, where is start time? Okay, it did not affect it as of now. Just close this. Open the integration again. Just close so that the variable will affect him again. This is a variable integration name team. Now, here it will set your integration name value. Just drag and drop. You may use hard code value also, no issues. But if you use this lookup n number of times right within the integration, right? So if you mistake some hard code value or something, you enter different value, right? It may went to error state. So better to hard code the values at the variable level and map the same. If you want to change something, simply need to update the variable. Now the validating. See, the same we are performing here. So in this lookup, if integration name in this lookup, the column integration name value, same as your variable value, then we'll get file name pattern. So how the results will evaluate him here? It's GLINT, right? Followed by again GLINT, followed by the value is .csv, right? So in this lookup, if both are same, the lookup value versus your variable value both are same, you will get star.csv value, the result. If fails, you may get any value. Okay? This is a lookup thing, how to use. Now validate and close the same summary you may see here.
For the default value, what is the column? Okay. In the lookup, we set the default value NA, right?
This is right. No, default is NA. That's our default value, whatever.
Default, like it is like not available or like it's
Not
none,
available.
some
Hardcode
random value.
something test, something null,
Random value.
whatever you
Yes,
want, or if you keep
yes.
empty.
But in the lookup also we set that, right, as a default. Can we get that?
Yes, you can, no issues.
Yeah,
You can.
that is
You
what.
may create a column over there, something default, XX default. So if you set it as something, yes, Y value, right? You may get a Y value here, the column. Okay? Your wish, how you, but in generally for the default value, we may hard code the values or we keep empty. Okay. Now the next here thing, just NA. Now the second one. Copy the same here. Everything will be same in this lookup. If integration name value, same as your variable value, if both are true, right? Now I'm trying to get the column name, which is directory, right? So use the directory here. That's it. If the condition is true, you will get the value from the lookup. If condition is failed, something it will populate default value. Okay. So this is about how to use the lookup thing. As of now, we are maintaining the uniqueness between the lookup versus integration, which is a variable. Whereas in real time, you may get the values for each record as well within the request mapper. There you may get one of the uniqueness within the file. So depends on the use case, you may get record for each record value, or you may get it as a static like this from the lookup team.
Okay.
Sometimes, if you remember, we worked ledger ID as hard-coded, right, for the GL web service. The ID you should get from your lookup stream. Save it. Now try to run the integration thing.
One quick question: How
Yeah.
can we like check like what all lookups available and which can be reused?
No, we cannot. You may download each lookup. Still, if you want to be get it, you may use a website REST API for that. Get all the lookups from backend and download to somewhere. But within the application, you cannot download all the lookups at a time.
Or from in this OIC itself, we cannot download.
You cannot download. You may download lookup by lookup.
For that, you need to know the lookup name.
Yeah.
So it's in general practice. If you need any, if you have any requirement for lookup, you probably create that. rather than reuse. Okay.
So the file count is 2 we are getting. So list files successfully executed team. See the variable values supplying from lookup. Variable name pattern getting from lookup team start.csv. Variable directory value getting from lookup /tl43. The list file successfully executed. File count is 2. Now it's reading the data and writing the data, payload received, and notification has successfully sent it. The attachment, one attachment is there, and the details here, and so on. So this is my GL data, something instance id.csv, and so on. So team, and this is so this is my email ID, right? Let me check. So this OIC mail service. Hi team, please find a chat GL data file. File name. This is notification parameter values team, if you remember. File name, instance ID, both are same, something mistake, and this is your CSV file. So this is couple of columns we written to the file team, right? See, there's an observation. Columns are missing team. Column names are missing, right? Can you see the column names here? No, only data you are seeing now.
No.
How will you get the column names here, team? So it's very to perform the right operation, team, especially, okay, you need to be first write the column names, team. First write the column names. Next, use appending option to write the data to the next record onwards. Here we are writing the data to the file, right team?
Yeah.
So first you may write here the headings team. Headings. Or very beginning of the flow, you may perform like this team. So that if you want to be write the errors, right, the headers should be beginning of the flow. So that for each scope fault handler, you may use the write operation to keep on add the errors to the same file. Okay. Write GL headers. Click on the next. Write entire file and specify the file name. Okay, this you may get it from here only team. Use the same. So if you want to repeat the write, so always you may hard code the file names and the directory from your variables team. Hard code this value to the variables and try to get it from there wherever write operation is being used. This is write GL header. Click on the next. Write file. Specify the file name, the directory. This is my directory. Same directory team. Okay. Exit expression builder and specify the file name and use your file team. And use the schema file, CSV, choose the file, PL43 or 44, okay, 43, OIC, write schema, something rate, correct set, mark all as optional, keep anyone mandatory. Just click on the next and then done. Right. Now open the request mapper. Create target node. Hard code the value here, team. The column headings these are indirectly. Accounting date. This is debit.
Vijay, like in this example, we have like few columns, but for 30 columns, we also will.
Obviously, you need to repeat the same. There is no change.
Okay.
If you have 50 columns, you need to be give this like this. So for this, if you have more than 50, 20, if it is more, right, just go for the code here. Just hard code one of the value here for column. See, just remove the journal description now. Now navigate to the code here. You may see all the code representation. This is called XSLT code behind of your request mapper. Okay. And so this is the data, right? Something GL data rec, accounting date, column value. We are hard code as accounting date for the debit, for the credit, I'll go same, right? Now you may repeat for your
Journal description.
right? So you need to be get the proper column name here, okay? So this is journal description, right? Click, create target node, click on the code. You may get it from your schema file team, this column name, and you may state a var code here. Now it's create empty journal, right? So copy this. You may perform this change within the notepad team or Excel user formula columns. And this is journal description. Copy the value also journal description. Now remove this. And now you may perform this exercise, the manipulation within your Excel followed by some formulas, right? And copy paste the data here. See, now the value was added here. Getting?
Can't we have these two write options and one write option? Like with headers,
No, we
it can
cannot.
write.
We cannot.
Wait, you know.
We have an option append only, okay? Okay. Now
Headers,
see,
it's not
in the
right.
first iteration, in the first write option, right, we are trying to write the only header first record team, and append to existing file is not enabled. When it is executed, very first row you may see the columns as the heading team, and then immediately we have the next write option where here you need to add append to existing file. We are using same file name, same directory team. Okay, so it will keep on add the data on your same file team. So first record you may see as a heading. The second time the records you may see as data team. The way you may get the headings on the file. So always the best practice, write the headers beginning of the flow team. So this is about how to use write and so on, the lookups and everything team. Hope I covered.
Sometimes we have to write like in a header, like how many records are there, like total, like let's say there are total header, total 100 invoices, something like that. So how do we count that data of the file, like and then like you got my question, right? Like
No.
for the, here I wanted to, here in header line I wanted to print number of GLs in there, GL lines in there. Or even in the footer line, I want to print the number of GL lines. How do we count the data like of the file? Like let's say how many lines in that
That
file?
is depends on your if else branches, right? You may get the count and followed by perform the write operation. Within the write operation, there is no manipulation. Only simply need to write the data. If you want to be restrict the data for the write operation, these records need to be sit in the file, right? So here you may use the files and get the read data count and so on.
Oh,
So
okay.
depends
Read
on the
data
condition only you
from.
may perform the write operation.
Mm-hmm.
Here straight away I'm writing the data, right? But in general depends on the conditions, right? You may use the branches. Within the branches, use the write operations and the read and so on. See here. Now the fault handler, right? Assume very first you added the header here, right? GL errors. Assume error message, error code, and something row number, whatever. You added the header error, right? Now the same directory, same file you may use within the fault handler team. Within the default handler, perform a write operation. If the control comes to here, right, it will keep on add the data in the file. The way if you have 10 scopes, within the 10 scopes default handler, use the same file, same directory, and keep on append the data to that file. At the last, send the email that as a notification so that it will have all errors. Getting? Team getting?
Yes, Vijay.
Yeah.
So, Vijay, like in real-time scenario, here we are checking from activity stream, right? If we need to check the flow. But in production, I think it
It won't
traces.
be, right? Activity stream, obviously, it won't be enabled. Everything should be log as the email notification, or mostly nowadays we are using the DBCS, right? Custom
So
table. So
in
within the
case of,
tables itself, you need to be, log the record, track the record.
okay.
If any errors are there, so on.
Mhm.
Can you explain the scope once again, in a sense that let's say I'm starting an integration now. Everything that first step is to introduce a scope, and then these integration, or like how I can track the entire error messages in one log file.
Let's see either I have or not here. So this is one of the real-time integration, okay? See here. So very beginning of the flow, I added a scope here. If any errors are there, right, scope will go, the exception goes to the fault handler, not the global fault within the scope flow, right? Now within the scope, again, I have one more scope in the loop team. Within the loop, for example, there are 10 iterations are there. Assume there are 10 iterations. First 2 iterations are successfully completed. There is an issue with third iteration, fifth iteration, ninth iteration, 3, 5, 9. Right? Obviously use a scope. Then how will you track your third, fifth, and ninth 3 iteration error records? So first what you have to do, you need to add a write operation here. Add a write file something GL errors. Okay, it's contain the columns error code, error message, and something input record, whichever you want. Right? Couple of columns you may maintain, right, to perform a write operation to maintain some data within the file. Assume you have the headers here. Up to this clear? Team. It's
Yes.
clear? Up to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Now, use the same file in your scope default handler to perform a write operation. If the third iteration is error, control comes to here. If it is error, control goes to the default handler, your write file being executed. And the error message, error code will keep on write to your file.
Can you show the properties of the scope, like where you give that file names and
No, here we do not have, right? Yeah. Something I'm using some other integration to track the errors here. Some other integration, some child integration I'm calling here to pass error message to that integration. The sub integration will be triggered and it will capture error message there itself. The logging mechanism this is.
error log error.
Still you are not getting here. Okay, let me do that. Close this. It's need more practice, Vijay. It's not at all to be understand within a session without practice. Okay. Clone something file integration 1. The clone is nothing but to create a replica of the integration team with a different name. Okay. Something created. So here, just reposition is a header. Add here. Now the header is in the very first position, right? Now navigate to the fault handler. Now just place here, reposition. So obviously, it's an error status since for this write data, the references we are getting from the read data, right? So obviously, we may get an error, and the notification reference we are getting from this write attachment, right? So obviously, it's an error status. See, now what happens? Controls comes to here for an execution. Very first record, it will write the file, and the file is available in your temporary directory. Assume in your flow, it's an error status, right? Control goes to the fault handler and it will execute the write operation here. And we use to keep on appending existing file. Appending existing file properties enable. Simply, it will write the data on your file team. So open the request mapper, see. So it's a scope, right? You may have the scope fault object here, the reason, error code, and so on. You may map the error information to the request mapper so that the data will goes to your file team. So it's a fault object, right? If you have error column here, right? Obviously, in the scope, the file structure should be error code, error column, and some other information. You may drag and drop the error column reason to the error so that the runtime error information will be captured to the file. Getting?
Okay, now I got it. Yeah.
Okay. Others team, any questions here? Okay.
So here, okay,
Mhm.
okay, got it. I got that. Yeah, I need
Okay. This integration need to be practiced minimum 10 times team. Without this integration practice, do not go for others integration development team. Without this integration, it's almost covers everything, all the properties. And these properties, whichever we use the file integration, right? Across all the integrations, 90% will use Teams here in my real-time integration. See, it's a variable, right? It's a data stitch. It's the list object, FTP I'm connecting. Okay. Again, using the switch branch, for loop, again the switch, and some web service calls. Now I'm going to be covered that the web service calls, switch branch, nothing team, nothing is there here. And some wait functionality, the logger. See, nothing is there, right? If you know the action items, how to use the properties of these action items, right? So it's very easy to understand the integrations, which is the real times.
Vijay, can you go to that clone again? Yeah, so you moved that right request mapper to the start of that, right? So here it is just a header, but in real time we need to, have some variable or what, like for the error logging.
Create a variable very first, hardcode the file name pattern, hardcode the file name and followed by the temporary directory to the variable and map those two within the header property, and same you may use here, the variable.
Okay.
Okay. The way if you have 10 scopes, right? The same you may repeat for the 10 times for each default handler. And you are getting the file directory and the file name from the variables.
But Vijay, like in request mapper on the right hand side, we
This one?
not this one.
This one?
Here, like where do we map those variable? Like the right side only the schema file columns are available, right?
The request mapper is nothing but columns, right? These are the columns, right? Request mapper. However, you want to get the data, right? So variables or some responses or the fault handler, however you want. But the file name and the directory, the temporary directory. Now it's a specify the file name, we hardcoded something file name right here. You may move this to the variable, open the expression builder. If you create a variable beginning of the flow, right, you may see the variable like this, right? And instead of this, just drag and drop the variable.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Team, still you're in question marks. Can I cover the use case? Already we spent 3 hours here. Today's third day for the file integration. In general, I spent only 1 hour for over exercise. This is the third hour for the file integration. Okay, just keep practice, you will get it. Now, the next, the BIP report integration team. If you remember, what is the web service for the BIP report team? Anyone remember by any chance? Team, what is the web service name for the BIP report?
That external WSS.
External report web service, right? Great. So something TL35, did we saved file import project? So TL43 image test. Just request. Just send a request, right, team? This is request mapper, right? So we used, and this is report, and this is an authentication need to be passed in the request server. You will get 200 OK response, and you will get an output in a report bytes. So use the -1 so that you will get the data in a report bytes. For XML. So you are getting some data over here, right? See, now the same web service will try to call within our integration stream. Now, this is a web service, right? This web service not comes with a Fusion application adapter team. It's an independent, okay? So, an independent web service may be called by using your SOAP adapter team. Create a connection using the SOAP adapter. The SOAP adapter is responsible to connect your web services stream. It could be Fusion application. It could be any web service stream, not only Fusion. This is TL43 report. This is dev report connection. Nothing but this is pointing to dev instance. Okay. Trigger and invoke, click on the create. So this is a WSDL, question mark, WSDL, and you need to enter your host username, the password for this host EKMK test and test it and save it. Okay, so this has successfully saved. Now it's the configured mode. Now the connection is being created. Click on the integrations. So here, okay, keep aside this one team. I'm going to be explain this use case with the app-driven orchestration team. App-driven orchestration, same as like, the PL SQL procedure in and out parameters team. Assume for a PL SQL package, right? When you write a custom PL SQL package, you may define in parameters and out parameters, right, team? In and out. Team?
Yes.
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 The in and out parameters depends on the use case you may define, right, team? And it's not 100% mandatory to maintain the out parameters. Am I right? Depends on the
Correct.
use case. The way for a custom PL package, you are going to be defined what is input, what is output. Right? Here also, you may create an app-driven orchestration, same as your PL SQL package. What is your request mapper? What is your response payload? What is your request payload? What is your response payload? Same as. First, you need to be defined in that team. Inside, you may define your own integration flow, same as PL SQL package development. Okay. Now I'm going to be use the same, sorry, not the import. Try to understand teams, create the confuse. App-driven orchestration, click on the select. This is TL43 BFP report integration, okay? Click on the create. It's app-driven. For an app-driven orchestration, the triggering point and the ending point, you need to be defined, team. What is our triggering point? What is our ending point, okay? So the triggering point you need to be defined with help of your, we'll create one more connection team here. Click on the create using REST adapter. REST adapter, create a connection here team. Select TL43 REST connection. Okay, you can invoke, create, and use the application host here team. This is connection type REST API base URL and the connection URL, and enter using the password and try to test it team. Just by using this REST connection, we are connecting to our Fusion application team. You are connecting to our Fusion application. See, if you remember our Postman, this is our REST endpoint URI. Up to this, for all the REST API, it's a common, right, team?
Yeah, it's an application.
All the REST
Common.
API is
Yes.
common. The common REST API endpoint URI, you need to move to the REST connection team. And the slash followed by whichever you want, you may use within the integration level, the REST endpoint. Okay. The way you may use this REST connection for the standard REST APIs, or you may use for custom REST APIs as well. Team. Same. How I am going to be use the same. Now connections. Sorry. Close this to reflect the same. Now I'm going to be define the custom. Sorry, the triggering point and the ending point followed by REST connection type. Horizontal. Okay. Now triggering point team. Search with TL43. So all app-driven orchestrations will refer the triggering connection, trigger connections team, not the invoke connection. Now this team, please mute yourself. You're getting the background echoes. So this is the REST adapter followed by the connection team. Okay, from triggering category. Okay, select the REST team. This is get data something. Click on the next. So what is of endpoints relative resource URI team? Okay, I'm trying to use something get ledger data something. Okay, see now what is our endpoint team for this REST connection? So we use the endpoint for the REST connection is this one, right? On top of this, I'm going to be define the custom endpoint URI team. Getting? This is my custom endpoint URI followed by the REST connection. Team getting? So how you want to be behave this custom REST endpoint? So get, put, post, patch, delete. What you want to be perform? Okay, going to be used post team. Just use a post. Whenever you use a post, you may define a request payload for this endpoint, a response payload for this endpoint team. You need to be defined. Enable these checkboxes. Okay, the way here I'm using a custom endpoint. The way here you may use your standard endpoint as well team here. The standard one, right? This is. You may copy and paste over there. This is standard one. Okay. So as of now, use the custom one. Get report data something. Okay. So it has a request and the response, which is a custom one team. Click on the next. And so what is the request here team? How you want to define a request? So it's a REST APIs, right? So nothing but JSON team indirectly. Use the JSON, open the inline here, add the JSON structure here, how you want to be pass the data here. So something I will like to be pass something ledger ID team. Something ledger name, some dummy value test, followed by something, yeah, it's enough. One attribute as of now. This is my request payload team. The way you may add n number of attributes here, however you want.
So Vijay, in case of standard one, we need to pass
Use the
the
standard request payload. That is
right.
the standard request. You may use the body right here.
Okay.
That body you need to be passed over there. Okay. Now click on the next. So what is the response you're expecting with the post execution here? JSON sample. Right. So I'm expecting the same ledger name, what it is, followed by some test, dummy data, followed by status, some dummy data, something success, right? Followed by some error message, what it is. If it error, we may return the message as well, right? The back, something error. So these data you may map really at your integration level. Click on OK. Click on the next, on the done. Now it will create a triggering point and the ending point followed by request and the response stream followed by the custom REST endpoint. See, this is the request mapper. This is the response back team, the post execution response back. What is the response back team? So and so. It will create a request mapper here. Same as your custom PL SQL package signature team. Okay, just correlate. Response wrapper. Ledger name. This ledger name I'm going to be map whatever value I'm supplying as a request team. Okay, just map. As of now, testing purpose, just hardcode the value status is success. Okay, something success and the error message, whatever you want. Something test error message. Okay, close the integration team. This is testing purpose team. Now you may test this signature team. it's a custom REST endpoint, right? So now add a tracking variable as the default tracking, something ledger name here, whichever field you want to be drag and drop, and the safety. It's a tracking field. Now close the same. So when you activate the integration, it will expose a custom REST API team. It will expose custom REST API followed by your REST API name / get report data. Okay. And now try to activate the integration. See, try to run. So it has exposed an endpoint URI for us team. This is called endpoint URI. Click on the same here. This is endpoint URI. Here you may have endpoint URL team. This is our real endpoint URL. Copy the link address, endpoint URL, and navigate the postman. Okay. And for this endpoint URI, what is the operation we used to team? Anyone remember? For this endpoint URI, what is the
Post.
operation we used? Post,
Post.
right? It's a post. For a post, we defined request body, right?
Yes.
Now enable the body, raw, JSON, right? So what is the body here, team? Here, how to run? Just click on the test. Here you may get it the same. The body, this is expecting it's a body team. The same body you may add here. The body, something this is US primary ledger, the real value I'm passing. Okay. And we are using the host here, so and so OIC host and not the EKMK host team. So this is custom REST endpoint, which is exposed by our OIC application, right? Now you need to be pass OIC application username the password since it is a OIC host. Authorization, the basic authentication, it's dev IAMPL followed by. Okay, now send a request team. Your integration will be triggered followed by this input team, and you may get a response back here. See, 200 OK, ledger name, US primary ledger, we mapped as into the output, status something hardcode value, error message something test error message. Okay, now the back here. So track instances, you may see the recent runs here. So this is being called from our Postman tool team. Open the activity stream. So the data triggered so-and-so, and the response returns back to us team so-and-so. Okay, here also you may run the integration within the integration layer. Click on the test and the body, something XX ledger, click on the testing. So it's, you may see immediate the response back 200 OK, ledger name, status success, something a hardcode value you are getting. This is only how to expose a custom REST API, followed by the app-driven orchestration, followed by the request and the response team. Now, in between, you may design your own integration flow, and based on your integration flow, based on your use case, you may return the back data team for your integration. Getting? Team, any doubts here? It's complex to understand.
Yeah, it is too complex, Vijay.
It's very easy, yeah. When you
So
compare with
app-drivens are like we can invoke them.
yes,
Is
we
that what?
can. Now you
You
may
have to
call this
invoke them.
integration to schedule orchestration. Again, app-driven to app-driven. Wherever you want, you can call this integration within the parent integrations.
Okay.
There, it will create a request. For example, this integration, if I call in my file integration, right? So what happened? This integration itself created a request mapper first, followed by the ledger name. That ledger name value you may map from your parent integration.
Parent
You
integration.
getting?
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
That is, we'll see in our real integration, the real integration. There we may call this integration. Okay, you will understand.
Vijay, like in real time, we can call this app driven from a third party also, right?
Yes, the
How many
same. Now we invoke from the postman, right? We triggered
Yeah.
from the postman, right?
Yeah.
The way it could be any system. You may share this endpoint URI, username, the password, and the request payload, what you are expecting for this. So they will trigger our integration from their system, wherever their transaction is commit.
And Vijay, like we use REST connection for triggering. Is
Yes.
it mandatory or any other
It's
we can?
mandatory, right? Without that, we cannot.
Okay.
It's a base for us. So tomorrow we'll try to enhance this to call a BIP report web service in between, and we'll try to return the back data to you.
Okay. So with scheduling it, we can schedule that at some point of time to do certain operations, and with app driven, we can invoke at our will.
Yes.